We're approaching Hanukkah time, so I thought we'd learn a little bit of Hilchas Likutei Halachos Hanukkah. Last year, we learned from Aleph until Hey, and so I just thought we'd go ahead and complete the section on Hanukkah and Likutei Halachos. This is Halacha Vav. So Likutei Halachos, Orach Chaim, Volume Gimel, in the Hilchas Chanukah, Halacha Vav. Al pi mash kasav Rabbeinu Hareinu kasher tzmi b'limud Torah zeh mitzmi v'atzmeinu lekol tzadikim hamitim shebedorenu lekol tzadikim hamitim shochnei avar kedoshim asher b'atzem b'frat Rabbeinu kadosh tzadik yisod elam nachal nemeim kol chochma Rabbeinu Nachman ben Fegena Nachman Miuman zchusam yagenu lenu el kol Yisrael. Amen. Al pi mash kasav Rabbeinu b'mayim hamaskil tehaimos yichasumu Ayin Sham Kol HaMaimar, what Rabbi Nachman taught in Likutei Moran 9, Tet. Havaklal. The main point is, Veshat Tefillah hu bechinas emunah. The Tefillah is the aspect of faith. Bechinas nisim lamala min hateva, the aspect of miracles that are above nature. Bechinas Eretz Yisrael, which is the aspect of Eretz Yisrael. Bechinas Yaakov avanav, and this is the aspect of Yaakov and his sons. Ki Yud Beis Luis Chalis HaTefillah Kineged Yud Beis Shiftei Bnei Yaakov v'chulei Ayin Sham, because there it's brought down. We have a tradition that there are actually 12 different versions of prayer that were specific for each of the 12 tribes. That each tribe had its own unique spiritual relationship with the Kadosh Baruch, with Hashem, with God, and that each tribe had therefore a specific type of prayer, a specific way of praying. And there are 12 tribes, so there are 12 types of prayer, and that's how the tribes of the sons of Yaakov are the tribes. They're connected to prayer because specifically they each had their own unique relationship with Hashem through their own type of prayer. And this is what Rabbi Nachman teaches in Torah Tet, in 9. Aval, כשאדם עומד להתפלל, באים עליו מחשבות ובלבולים ונשאר בחושך ואין יכול להתפלל. However, when a person stands to pray, and anybody who's ever tried to pray, if you've ever tried to pray seriously, and that is with tremendous focus and attention and longing, and to really put your full heart into your prayer, you'll know that this is true by just the experience. You'll have experienced this, and that is when somebody stands to pray, all sorts of thoughts and confusions come upon him, and he's left, and he remains in darkness. He can't pray. He can't find God. He can't think of where his relationship. He can't recognize Hashem as the creator of this moment. He's immersed in a very great darkness. And the main advice. So what are you going to do? The main advice for this is when a person tries to pray and he's getting confused by all sorts of strange thoughts and all sorts of distractions that are taking out of his prayer and his service, and he can't think of how am I going to get away from these distractions? Then the main eitzah, the main advice is just truth. That meaning to say that he actually sees that the words come out of his mouth in truth. Now, this idea of how the words come out in truth, what does that mean to make the words come out of your mouth in truth? Well, we're going to see what he says here, but we'll just give you a couple of ideas to go through. So one of them is to see the words, simply just to see that you're saying these words and to really pay attention to this, that you're saying each word and to visualize the word come out of your mouth, and that's saying in truth. There's another way. Saying in truth is saying the word and having it in mind that that you're saying, Hashem, I'm saying these words for you. I can't find you, but I'm making myself say them. You're saying the words in truth. You said the words the truth is I can't find you. I don't really want to do this. That's the truth. I'm forcing myself to say them. I'm making them come out of my mouth. And no matter what level you're on, it doesn't matter if you're the highest of the high and you're so spiritual, and you've already been spiritual and you're just having a little bit of conflict and keeping a clear thought, or maybe you're on the lowest level and the clearest thought you can have is what am I going to wear tonight when I go to the party or the disco or the bars? Maybe that's the biggest thing you try to think about, right? There are people who like that. So, but it doesn't matter what level. try to pray by seeing the words come out of your mouth in truth. So now, it depends on the type of prayer. If you're talking about prayer that is like Shmona Esrei prayer, so the person who's on the lowest rung isn't really going to be saying that type of prayer. What prayer is the person on the lowest rung saying? He's going to say, God, all I want is physicality. I'm so far away from spirituality. If you're there, I don't even know if you're really there. Maybe so that's speaking words of truth. So that person who's forcing himself to say a few words, who looks around and he says, "What am I? What am I doing in this world? I'm going from one self-pleasuring to another. I'm not doing anything. I'm not serving anybody. I'm not helping. I'm not trying to emulate God. I'm not trying to." Earn my way in this world that my Creator created of me and gave me a life and wants something of me in return. So a person starts to think of those things at certain points. We all have a soul, and it nudges us sometimes. So what happens when a person does that? So he can't pray. He's so confused. He has a flash of a thought that he wants to come close to Hashem, but the next thing he's thinking about is what chip should I buy for the get together tomorrow night, right? So that person needs to say in truth, Hashem, I just want chips. I want this physicality, but there's a part of me that realizes that there's probably something bigger. Or I'm concerned, I'm afraid, because some people say maybe there is something bigger. So I'm asking you to illuminate for me. Now that's saying words in truth. So those words themselves, he's saying, when they're spoken in truth, they cause an illumination. Because really, truthfully, there's a lot. Imagine you're in a room and it's pitch black, and the walls are lined with doors, but you have no way of knowing that. You don't know. The walls are lined with doors. It's pitch black. You don't know that they're lined with doors. So there's plenty. There were really plenty of openings to get out of the choshech that Rabbi Nachman alludes to and teaches in that teaching in Torah Tet. But the fool is going in his darkness, and he's going around, and he doesn't see the opening. But truth is the light of Hashem, as it were, himself. Truth is Hashem's own light. So, therefore, through the speech that a person speaks on whatever level that he speaks and says true words that happen to be whatever they happen to be, whether it's actually just trying to say the words in the Siddur or in the Psalms, to say the words and force oneself to say some words, or to say a few words of actual personal prayer. Hashem, please, I know I'm far away from God. I'm far away from from spirituality. I just want physicality, but something deep inside believes that there's probably spirituality. So please open me up for that. That's a word in truth. So that word in truth is actually the illumination of God Himself, as it were, Hashem, as it were. And so therefore, when a person speaks these words, it's like a flashlight that Hashem illuminates for him and shows him the door, shows him how he can get out of the choshech that he's trapped in, out of the darkness that he's trapped in. In the aspect of what it says, that the opening of your words will be illuminated. And this is also the meaning of a deeper meaning of the verse that's in the story of Noach, when Noach was told to build the ark. He says, Tzohar ta'aseh teva, make an illumination in the ark, the teva. But the word teva also means word. So that's Tzohar ta'aseh teva, then you make an illumination in the word. Through the word itself, it causes the illumination. Yesh omrim Evan Tov, Yesh omrim Chalon, and in the place where this verse is mentioned in the story of Noach, there's two opinions of what Zohar means. One says it was a precious stone that glowed by itself and illuminated, and there are those who said he made a window so that the light could shine in. The hachiluk bein Evan Tov lechalon. So what's the difference between the stone that illuminates from itself and a window? Ki Evan Tov me'ir ba'atzmo, because obviously the stone is illuminated, it provides light. The window is just a a means so that light from another place can enter. But the stone itself, obviously, is something that's illuminating from itself. Bechinas emes shameir batzmo, because that's the aspect of truth. Because truth itself is an illuminator. V'akol lefi godel hemes, and the amount of illumination that these words yield is dependent on the greatness of the truth that's being said. So, on the one hand, there's the truth that right now I want a hamburger. Let's say, okay, that may be truth, but there's a greater truth that there's a pull to physicality, and that the part of me, what's called the animalistic soul, wants very much to be involved with physicality, to eat and to do all the things that are physical, right? And then there's this part of me that's called the godly soul. And the godly soul actually just wants godly things. It doesn't want the physical world at all. So that's a bigger truth, if we would say that. But so you understand that the illumination. So that person who's saying words like that is speaking words that are going to illuminate even more awareness of the truth of Hashem's presence, and of Hashem's desire for us to have relationship with Him. But the person who speaks the word, "I just want a hamburger," but I wish that I could, even though I want a hamburger, I wish I would feel like a desire to have a more refined relationship with hamburger, that I would eat with a blessing, perhaps, or I wish I wanted to keep kosher for you, Hashem. Maybe, God forbid, a person is not keeping kosher. So, I came from a non-religious background, and we grow and we come to this place. Why? Because we want to refine, we want to build, we want to become aware that this physicality is not the goal. It's just a ride. It's the playground, and we get to exercise free choice in this place. So the choice we want to ultimately make is the choice of truth, the choice of pursuing godliness. So the level of truth that's spoken will provide the amount of illumination. Because the main thing Hashem desires is truth. And Rabbi Nachman again teaches this also. Rabbi Nassan says, Rabbi Nassan being reminding just the main student of Rabbi Nachman, Rabbi Nassan is the one who compiled Likutei Halachos, all based on Rabbi Nachman's teachings, which are found in Likutei Moharan. So Rabbi Nassan says that all of these ideas are brought down in this foundational Torah. He's basing this on Likutei Moharan 9. Kizeh etzat nifla'a ma'od v'shabbat lekol nefesh letzeis me'imke achoshech afela. And because this is an amazing advice, a very amazing advice, and it's worth it for anybody, every single person, every single soul. It's worth it. It helps no matter what level the person's on to get out of the depths of darkness and fog. Al yidei ha'emes shu or Hashem yisbarach ba'atzmo kebiyachol, through speaking words of truth, which are the actual words of Hashem, as it were. Bechinas Hashem ori, in the aspect of the verse that David Melech said, God is my light, Hashem is my light. Ki Hashem yisbarach hu etzem ha'emes, because Hashem, blessed God, is the absolute foundation, is the essence of truth. May we be merit to speak words of truth, to be able to find and to utter words of truth, to push ourselves to utter those words of truth, to believe and to experience eventually the illumination of that truth, to illuminate a higher and deeper way of existing, more and more close to serving Hashem. Ken Yiratzon.